Forward to the cloud. Recording is started. Let's go. And I'm gonna start by sharing my trusty monitor here. Let me know when you guys are able to see the screen by either a thumbs up or like give me a reaction. Let me know once you guys are able to see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Great. Thanks, Uncle.
Yeah, we can see you.
Great. Cool. All right. So here's what you guys need to do. For you to get to a certain stage, what I need you to do is, first of all, go to, if you've created a branch on, on the repository, go to your specific branch. And what I want you to do is, basically how you get there is at the bottom right, if you have Visual Studio open. Okay. Once you click on a branch name down there, Encore, you have it already set up. So what I want you to do is, on your branch name, click on where it says Manage Branches, and then look at your branch, Homework 1. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, right click on that, and then you want to see if it says Merge main into your branch name.
It says merge a branch name into my branch name. It doesn't.
So what you need to do is, I'm going to check this out first. And don't just do it along here. You should be able to say, or right click on, okay, right click on main instead. Yeah. So first what you want to do is you want to check out the main branch by double clicking on it. And then make sure you check out your own branch. Then on main, right click, and it says, where it would say merge main into Encore/homework 1, click on that option.
Okay. Yeah, it's are you sure you want to merge? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then does it say if are you getting any conflicts?
It says Audrey up to date at the top.
Okay. So hold on. So now at the bottom, you should be able to see like a number greater than 0 next to the pencil icon.
Yeah.
All right. When you click on that, I want you to, this is what's known as making a commit. You go ahead and you give a message saying, let's say, updating code from main, and then you will click on commit all.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I supposed to do this too?
What's that?
Am I supposed to do this too?
No, not yet, Adi.
Yeah, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll get into all of that in a second. Okay. What I want you to do now, Encore, is your changes are not pushed onto your branch just yet. There's still what's known as a local commit stage. Mm-hmm. What you need to do next is, in fact, hold on. Headphones. But if you see that solid up arrow where this is your branch name, so up at the top, the drop down all the way to the right where it says push.
Yeah.
I want you to click on that.
Okay, so it's started.
All right. Now, once it's started, it'll tell you when the push has been made.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. I hope you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty. Now, what are we going to be doing today? Today we're going to, so over like the past week, I have, I'm going to also open up Teams on my end. Over the past week or so, I have been writing a lot of code to help us get officially started But before that, I really wanted to take the time to make sure that we started to see our actual bot running inside of Microsoft Teams.
Hmm.
So I got a ping from someone. All right, excellent. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go back into, where is it? We're gonna go back into App Studio. And I'm also gonna open up I think I have a bot cred file somewhere. And by doing that, I'm going to look at, yes, I do. All right, so remember from last time, we have a bot ID, we have our bot secret. We also have a manifest app ID, right? Like this sounds a little familiar. And we're going to use a program called ngrok. We're going to have our code running in Visual Studio. And what we're going to do, and follow along closely. So I'm going to go back to the learning branch that we have from February 21st. And I'm going to quickly get some information that we need. Right now in startup.cs, you will notice that we really don't have a, oh, come on. Let me just build the code real quick, just to make sure all of our references are correct. Okay, build succeeded. And we should. Still gives me a undo. It should say that everything has been found correctly. No worries. You don't have to worry about that for the time being. What we need to do now is take our bot secret.
Can you hold on for a second? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to open up that notepad file that I made like before.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Just make sure that you have that. And keep in mind, as I said before, do not, by all means, do not commit this file and sync it to a branch. If that happens, somehow Microsoft and many other application companies, they kind of have web crawlers and they have listeners on the internet where if they find an app ID or an app password that is in source code, they will automatically send an email out to whoever made the commit, and they will send you an email saying that we have invalidated your application. This has happened to me with Slack, by the way. So Slack sent me an email saying that we're going to invalidate your application. We're going to take down your credentials. You have to get new credentials, and please make sure you do not check it in again. So that's just a word of caution that I would want to give you guys. Ali, were you able to find that file?
Oh, dang.
Nope. It's okay. It's okay. No worries.
No, I know it's there. It's just lost somewhere. I don't know why. I just made it yesterday because that's when I looked at the video.
Gotcha. Don't worry. Don't kill yourself over it. I'll show you how
Okay.
to. Okay. Here's what you need to do. Step 1, open up Notepad, right? Once you go into the manifest editor, you'll see our Ganga game bot, right?
Yeah, I see it. Mhm.
Once you go into the
Oh yeah,
bots,
it should have it. Yeah.
just give me a second.
But wouldn't the the password be hidden or something?
Yes, the password would be hidden. So I'm not gonna change it. I'm not gonna like show, I'll show you the steps on how to change it. So what you need to do first and foremost is this. So if you see where it's the current password, it might have the first 3 characters unhidden and the rest of the password is hidden, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do, you see all the way at the right, you see 3 dots.
Yeah. Delete.
Click, yep, delete that. And then click on generate new password.
Okay.
Now, when you generate the new password, what'll end up happening is that you will have to, at that point, you'll get the full value, copy and paste that value. And what I would also recommend that you do is create a new folder saying like, say Ganga GameBot stuff, right? And then make a new file in that Ganga GameBot stuff folder and make sure you say, like, you can put it as like bot password. This way you know where to, which folder it's in, what file to go to. This way you don't have to constantly like say, oh, I lost the password, or I lost some ngrok URL, or I lost this, lost that. You have it right then and there for you.
Okay.
Let me know when you're at that stage, and then I'll continue moving forward.
Okay, let me just.
And by the way, guys, with the videos, if you've been watching over them, have they been making sense? Do you have any questions about them? I'm taking
I
that.
think they're. Yeah, they're pretty good, I guess.
Ankur, what about you?
I haven't really been watching them.
It's always good to review once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
So. Okay, I'm just typing it in another notepad file.
Good, good, good,
I'm
good.
putting it in the folder just to make sure.
Good.
And wait, so there's bot ID, there's bot secret.
Yes.
The last one.
Okay, so last one is a manifest app ID. The way that you'll get that is you will have it in the first step under details, under app details. So if you see that where it says under
Oh, okay.
identification, this app ID, this one you'd
Yep, I see
wanna
it.
just copy it and keep it for reference.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, got it.
All right, so I'll move, so I can move ahead.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Now we have, no, don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. So we have our Microsoft App ID. I'll actually make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. We have our Microsoft App ID. We have our Microsoft App password. Now, tenant ID, we don't have to worry about it for now. The reason why the tenant ID is there is it's Microsoft's way of understanding or of denoting a business, because so many businesses that use Microsoft M365, which used to be O for Office 365, each time or each client or customer of Microsoft is thought of as a tenant, and you identify a tenant by a tenant ID. In simple layman terms, a tenant is nothing but a business. So think of our Games for Seva as a business. In fact, it really is, because it's a startup. And it has then our storage connection string, we'll get into that, I guess, probably on next Saturday, where we're gonna have a double dip. So we're gonna have a session on March 6th. We'll have a session on March 7th, where we're going to talk a little bit about databases and review what a database is, and just let this phrase marinate for a second. That data is crud. Don't take it literally, but data is crud. Now, this is a bit of a what's it called? A bit of a like a taster next week, which is CRUD stands for 4 basic operations: create, read, update, and delete. And we'll take a look into what kind of database storage we will be using, which is called Azure Table Storage, and how it differs from what a normal database would be. Now, the concept of normal is completely, it's really stretched thin. It means completely different in different contexts. But we're going to take a look at why we chose Azure Table Storage, why it was originally done to use Azure Table Storage, apart from having an uptick in usage of Azure resources, but what makes Azure Table Storage different from, let's say, MySQL, or let's say a SQL-based database. What are some of the differences that we can point out? We'll go into that on the 6th of March. On the 7th, we're going to go into more of the code. So now we're going to start going into the weeds. So that's the storage connection string. Score threshold. Do you guys remember where that came from or where that was mentioned? Do you guys have an idea? What
Mm,
kind of bot are we? What kind of bot? What's the main purpose of this bot?
to help them.
Well, you're on the right track, but what I'm saying
Yeah,
is
I mean,
I asked a blank to get another blank. What are the 2 blanks I'm looking for?
question. You ask a question to get a response.
Correct. Now, if you saw the workshop that we did about for like an hour and a half, that we did something with a Q&A maker when we were making our knowledge base. If you saw in that whiteboard that I drew up, that digital whiteboard, do you remember how Q&A maker is in fact supposed to return an answer if a certain score is greater than the limit? So that's where the score threshold is. This is for our Q&A maker to say that it's at 50%. If I go and I ask, for example, what's a gharial, and I get the response back from the knowledge base that's at a value of 7.75, we say that if an answer that comes back has a score greater than that of a threshold that we've set, then return that back to the user as an answer. Does that sound familiar now? So that's our score threshold. Access cache expiry in days basically means to say that we're going to be using a cache, an in-memory cache of some sort. Now, how long is that cache going to last? We're going to say it should be lasting for 5 days. Sometimes when you're dealing with applications in other industries like finance or healthcare or anything that's heavily regulated, you would have that expiry value lower because you want to make sure that the application is not only performant, but it's also secure, saying that if there's data that needs to be accessed, it can be accessed within 1 day or how much ever it needs to be in, and then we clear it. It's almost like hitting Control-Shift-Delete before you exit the browser. If you're in, let's say, a school computer lab, or if you're in public, you want to make sure that your cookies and your history does not get tracked by someone else. It's like one of those, it's one of those things that we always do. All right, let's go ahead and we'll start. And hopefully this time we can actually see our bot working in Teams today. So we have our app ID, we have our app password. Let's go to our ngrok, our messaging endpoint. Now, from previous sessions, I mentioned that we have to simulate the World Wide Web on our machines. Does that sound familiar to you guys? So we're using ngrok as this tunnel. And here's our steps that we want to take. First, if you've extracted ngrok somewhere on your machine, go ahead And if it's in your documents folder under the folder of ngrok, go ahead and navigate inside to it. Let me know once you're there. All right, Encore, you're there. Adi, are you?
Yes, I'm there.
All right, now here's an effective trick, a quick trick.
Don't you do like CMD? or something?
Yeah. Yep, you're right. So up at the top, this is a search bar. Funny thing is, if you typed in google.com, it would actually go to the internet here. I kid you not. I tried it once a while ago. I'm like, oh, this is new. I was like 10 at the time. And my mind was blown. But now what you do here is you type in CMD and hit enter. What ends up happening is that you'll run what's known as your command prompt. Command prompt is like, you can run commands like cd to change a directory, dir to print out what files or what contents are in a specific folder. And you can, in fact, if you really wanted to get creative, you could install a Linux shell through the Windows App Store and say you can run a Linux terminal inside of this. That's now, but the Linux terminal, that whole stuff, that's a different discussion for another day. What we're going to do here is we're going to go and start our tunneling protocol. So it's ngrok, HTTP. Now, if you guys always remember HTTP, if you see it, right? HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is something that you would be expected to know when you apply for an internship, either from college or if you're applying for a full-time job right after graduation. It's an important point to note. So HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We're going to specify a port number, 3978. Now, where did I get that? I get that from the properties.
Localhost.
Not yet. Well, you'll end up with that, but I'm just taking a quick step back to basically break down what we're writing inside of command prompt here, just so that it's there for you guys to review. So once we get our properties up, you can be able to find a port number, and I will get to it later on. But here you're gonna do dash host. Oh yeah, is it host header is equal to localhost. All right, and go on and hit enter after that. And once you have that running, you have this, you want to take your second link here, and you right click to copy. Go inside of Microsoft Teams, and basically from this /API/messages, you do not want to do anything else. You want to select everything else in front of it and just paste it there.
Okay.
Some services are unable to resolve why. Okay, now we got an error. Create service provider, search service, telemetry client, attempting to activate. Okay, this is a dependency injection error. Oy, this is on the search service right here. And okay, so let me stop this guy for a second.
And these are NuGet packages. Okay. Hold on a second. Why? Build succeeded, but then Solution Explorer, restore NuGet packages. Are already installed and there's nothing to restore. Don't tell me if this is what I'm thinking it is. Don't tell me. All right, so usually what will end up happening, packages. Just quickly go ahead and then, there we go. All right, so there we go, finally. And we don't have any errors here. Any other errors here? Good. Application insights, telemetry. Okay. Build succeeded. Let's rerun. All right, our bot is ready. And let's go ahead and we've updated our endpoints, our endpoint. Let's go and update our edit. Let's update our valid domain. Add. And finally, let's go to test and distribute. And let's install. All right, now, let me know when you guys are at this point, the Encore.
I don't know if it's just my microphone, but like your microphone is a bit,
Can you hear it now? Is it better?
it's like, I don't know, it just sounds really, I don't know, Uncle, are you hearing the same thing?
Yeah, it sounds like crackling.
Yeah,
Really?
crackling.
Really sounds crackling?
Yes.
Huh, how about now?
Still.
Hold on a second.
You guys hear it better? Or is it still worse?
It's good, it's good.
Can you hear, do you hear any crackling now? Or is it better? Or is it better than before?
It's good.
All right, cool. Thanks for the heads up. All right, now let me know if you're at this screen. Can you guys see a screen that's similar to mine?
Yes, by accident I already clicked add.
Okay, good. I actually want you to click on add. In fact, I really do want you to click on the add because what would end up happening is, do you see that in fact, your bot technically is in fact working right now? And what we're gonna do is put a couple of breakpoints and we're gonna start analyzing. This is actually our bot literally running. And you do realize that we would basically be taking a look. This method would have been kind of, oh my Lord, I see why. I see what happened. Whoops. Okay. I think I missed out on something. do you guys see where you don't get anything from the bot, right?
Yeah, I don't get anything.
Yeah, I don't get anything.
Okay, we were supposed to initially get a card from the bot as a welcome card. Now, this is actually a great point for us to actually start like writing some code. So, Adi, which branch are you on right now?
Since in the previous video you told me to create a new branch, so so Encore named his Encore/1.1, I think. So I just named my Adi/1.1.
Okay, let me double check if that's actually on GitHub, because then if that's the case, then that's excellent. I really do like, or I think it was like homework 1 or something that Encore had named it, right?
Yeah, that's what I named mine.
Yeah. So I think Adi, did you name it the same way?
Was I supposed to create like homework/101.1 and like?
No. Just create it as like a slash homework 1. That's perfectly enough.
Okay, I just did Adi/1.1. That's what I did last time.
All right, that's fine. But today I want you to also push that branch up to GitHub, because then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start making some actual code changes, slowly but surely, and and today I wanted to actually get you.
I think it's already pushed.
All right, I will find out right now.
I don't know. Okay.
No, don't worry. It's okay. It's okay.
And last time I think it might be some error. I got some errors.
Okay, we'll go over it in a second.
Yeah.
But you're at a point where if you see on ngrok, you see this, right? Where it says post API messages 200, okay?
That's where the error part comes in.
Why? What's the error about it?
It says 502 bad gateway.
Oh, 502 bad gateway. Now the reason for that,
And it says it 4 times for some reason.
and it shows it 4 times. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to share your screen, and I'm gonna control it. I'm gonna show you, I think, where. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'll actually control your screen from my end, and I'll show you
gosh.
what will happen. Like, you can do that on Zoom, by the way.
Yeah, I think you can. Remote control.
Yes.
Share my screen.
Not yet. We'll
Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead and we'll.
whoops.
No, not yet. But we'll go and
Okay.
we'll start seeing a little bit of like some cool stuff, what you would say. And I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna type in a message of hello. Right? Now, do you see Visual Studio is going all orangey on me at the bottom of my screen here?
Yeah.
Remember when we said that on message activity gets executed every single time that there's a message coming in, right?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not gonna like debug through everything. I'm gonna remove the breakpoint here, and I'm gonna hit on continue. And look at that. This is our bot now at a point where it's actually running inside of Microsoft Teams. That now we can go ahead and say that if I wanted to tell me to welcome, it can go and tell me to do this. But we realized that we were a little bit, that we missed the mark somewhere. And where we missed the mark is here. Why? There is a line of code that always tells the bot to send something back to the user, and it's something similar to this. Await turn context.send activity async, whatever it needs to send with a cancellation token. What that means to say is basically when you have a conversation with someone, you're taking turns to speak, right? So if I am talking to the bot right now will go ahead and do what it needs to do through a typing indicator, which will go into another session next Sunday, right, on the 7th of March. But what I want you guys to take a look at is when I install a bot for the very first time and I want to get the welcome message, I did not put the await turn context dot send activity async. which is why we don't see the actual welcome card or the welcome message from the bot. So what we're going to do is stop the code for a second. And I'm going to, in fact, add await turn context send activity, not activity, async message factory dot attachment user welcome card attachment. I'll explain the parameters in a second. And cancellation token. And there's no red lines, there's no green lines. The reason why there was a green line before is there's this concept in asynchronous programming where you will have the keywords async and await. Now, asynchronous basically means it's out of time. Synchronous, we know, means it's in time. The most common or the best known example of being in sync is music, right? You have a beat, 4 beats per measure in a 4/4 time signature, right? You have 4 measures on one line of your music, 4 measures on the line below it. Within each measure, you'll have 4 beats, right? So that makes it synchronous. Just like that, in the world of computer programming, when we say that they're synchronous, that means that code is being executed one line after another. Now, the asynchronous throws a little bit of I wouldn't call it a wrench, but it's a wrinkle. Now, the kicker with asynchronous programming is that execution, no matter what language you're writing code in, if it's a chatbot, if it's a website, if it's a mobile application, always executes code one line at a time. It's like putting one foot in front of the other. When you are running something that's asynchronous, what that opens the doors for is the ability for the computer not to wait for an expensive operation. By that, I mean, it could be retrieving data, it could be posting data to, let's say, a database that could take time. While that is happening, the asynchronous part comes in where while the computer is in fact getting the data, it can go ahead and do something else. And it does not have to wait for the data to be retrieved in order for the next instructions to be processed. Does that make sense so far? Any questions, Adi, Ankur? No? All right. So when we say that we're having a method that's asynchronously running, that means that this method can do its own thing and something else can happen in the background. For example, when we're looking to get an answer from the knowledge base, right? We always, I think I made a mention about some typing indicator that we should show to the user, right? So that's a good example where as the bot is getting data from the knowledge base, it's going to show the typing indicator. But in no way, shape, or form is the bot actually blocked from doing anything else. You know, it's like, it's all another good analogy would be when you're making any dish at home, right? You, for example, you have an oven, you have and a stove, usually together in one unit. So while you're using the oven to bake cookies, which could take an hour, maybe you could use that same time to maybe, I don't know, make a guacamole, right? It's kind of like that. It's not, there are times where if you're doing a large data, if you're getting a lot of data, that it might be required for you to use that data in a next step. but still you'd want to be able to move forward. You still want to be able to get the next step done. But the asynchronous programming, I feel like the cooking analogy was a little bit better to explain. Did that make sense to you guys? Awesome. So how do we make so going back to running this in Teams, how in heavens are we in fact, actually wait, Adi, did you want me to take a look at your 502 error real quick?
Okay, sure.
All right, I'm gonna stop my share so you can go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, I'm just gonna share my whole screen then.
Yeah, share the whole screen. That's what I need to see. All right, view options. I'm gonna request remote control.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
This is so weird.
502 bad gateway, huh? Visual Studio's right here. And okay, number one.
I
It's not
think it might be syntax or something.
the 1.1. Let's see. Yep. Find and install the latest version. Okay, now I know what needs to be done. Alrighty. Go ahead. Manage. Now what I need to do is right click. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna don't do anything, Adi.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know it was actually working.
All right. Merge main and click on save. Fatal error. Okay.
Fatal.
Okay. No worries. No worries. So what we're gonna do is undo this changes first. And then we're going to push the changes. Okay, you're gonna have to sign into GitHub for a second.
Oh.
All right, now that you've pushed, what we're gonna do is we're going to merge. Yes. Just give it a second. All right, perfect. So then I am going to take the incoming. All right, so where's your notepad file? All right, so you got your bot ID, your bot secret, right? So what we're gonna do is gonna go back to this guy. Here and close this. We are going to take a look at here, adaptive element.
Oh.
You have two schemas. Okay. Okay, this is
That's
one.
Ella element. Yeah.
Adaptive.
I think it says Ella element.
Yep, I know.
Wait, it's supposed to be like that?
No, it's supposed to be element.
Oh, okay.
You can see class, what the? Just eat food. What's the sound?
Why are we showing some? Okay. Return to attachment.
How do I mute myself when My screen's being controlled.
That is a good question.
I think you can do Alt A, maybe, unless it's I don't know.
No,
No, because I'm the one who's got the keyboard over here.
I think you
Oh,
could
well,
mute me.
Give me a second. There we go. No, she's found. Save that. Go to the app settings, and then we're gonna do is take the bot ID. Oh, snaps. Bot ID. That goes to the Microsoft App ID. We're gonna take our bot secret that comes over to the Microsoft App password. Okay, save that. Don't commit it, remember. And then we'll go into ¿Dónde está Chrome? It's over here. We're going into App Studio. And then Manifest Editor. We'll go into this guy. And then we'll go into our bots. Now we are taking that, good. 484, perfect. API messages. Then, oh yeah, the reason why you're getting a 502, Adi, is because your code's not running. So keep in mind that you, why is this failing? Why? Hold on. Oh, like this is, I always keep forgetting that I have to ignore that, file. So properties, build, no, is it? Yeah, right here, uncheck, recheck, build that. Now, where does the other, oh, do the same thing on this one too. Properties, build, bottom. Two succeeded, perfect. Let's run this guy. So Adi, the reason why you're getting the 502 is the fact that your bot code is not running. Always make sure before you do anything when you're testing the bot, run the bot code first. That's like F1, formula first, like step, like, priority number one. Always make sure your bot code is running. And you can also take a look at how the bot is also doing when it comes to processing your requests and other responses by going into localhost 4040. This is your inspector, but on a web page. If you really cannot make sense of the gobbledygook that's in the command prompt, you can even go to localhost 4040 and make sure. By the way, if you're using ngrok without an account, you can sign up for a longer session. This way your link is valid for 8 hours when you have an ngrok account. You go to ngrok.com, sign up with Gmail, you're set to go. It'll show you how to put your token in as well. Now, let's go into Teams and see some stuff in action where on the bottom, we can go test and distribute. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on install. And here, we're not going to add it to a team just yet. We're going to add it for ourselves. Now, here, technically, you really should be seeing some activity, but we're not. For the time being, I'm going to type in hello again. And let's take a look. Post API messages, 200 OK. There we go. Your bot is in fact running on your machine. So now let me go. Now I'm going to go back on yours since I'm actually doing this and point out what we were missing a little while ago. Now, our gamebot file is this Ganga gamebot.cs. Now, this cards should be its own directory. This is how the project should be formatted. Wait. I'm still controlling. Don't move around the mouse just yet. Now, what's going to end up happening is you see on members added async. I did not put the async await. So async await is like peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why, but I'm getting hungry and it's like 5:30 in the evening. So time for a snack. But async await go together because async says I'm running this out of tune or out of time. Await says that, okay, I'm going to be able to, don't worry about me. I'm fine. We can go ahead. You guys, computer, you do you. You do what you need to do. So, and when you're from a syntax perspective, always, if you're wondering why code is compiling yet I don't see something, or somehow there's still a red line, pranav help, we're writing something that's asynchronous, I'm going to ask, did you ever put the await keyword? And if you say, oops, it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. You're learning something brand new for the first time. And the fact that you are showing this much interest, it's commendable. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the await keyword, turn context dot activity, no, turn context, the lines right there, send activity async, right? And message factory is like a class that allow, yes, Adi. Oh, let me unmute you. Unmute, please.
No, because the reason I was keep on moving it was because I couldn't really see the code because the participant screen was like blocking it, so I kept on moving it.
Oh, okay, got you. Gotcha. All right.
I mean, wait. Can I have it for a second? I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, that's it.
All right, cool.
You can take it back.
No problem. User welcome
Just
card
minimized
attachment.
it.
Yeah. Who the heck is? Excuse me for a second. Alrighty. Now, after this, cancellation token. Now, we're gonna run the code again, right? Now, what we're also gonna do this time is we're going to uninstall the app. We're gonna reinstall it, and we should now be able to see some kind of a card, ideally. So to do that,
Welcome message.
yes. So if I click on uninstall, right, we click on uninstall, and we usually should, sometimes we'll have some kind of an event here, but let's go back into App Studio. Let's go back into our manifest editor, take our Ganga gamebot, test and distribute, install, and let's add it. Hopefully we should get some kind of a card this time around. Well, we don't, but usually I think it needs to happen where, there you go. There's our card. Now, what's going to happen here is Adi, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start playing around with these cards a little bit more. How? Remember those cards I asked you to come up with?
Yeah.
We're going to start one at a time, thinking about how it's going to look. We're going to start looking at possibly maybe seeing how these cards could come about. We're not necessarily going to put images per se, but I want you to take a crack at this. There's a lot of documentation, including the source code repository that I put on WhatsApp, where where you can use that as a point of reference. I will give you guys a lot of reference material. And in fact, I'm going to use the same branch that I've been using, the Learning February 21st branch, and I'm going to be making some consistent commits. Now, commits in the sense of what kind of cards we'll have, the class files that may be required. And I'm going to, before I do anything else nefarious, I'm going to give up the remote control. I'm going to exit the full screen, and Adi, you can stop the screen share. All right. Now you got to see that welcome, that welcome message inside of Teams. Like when
Yeah.
are we eventually gonna get to that point where we're gonna start seeing some tangible things running inside of Microsoft Teams? Today was that goal. We achieved that. Now, Adi, your job is to do this. Remember when you saw how you're going to create a new branch, right? So your next step is you're going to go ahead and start putting in your cards that you wrote from
And
remember those Google Doc cards that I
yes,
showed that we
I
were
sent it
working on?
to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
you sent it to me. We had a conversation about it. Now, take a look at how they're written out, right? And take the very first card only the very first card.
Okay. The welcome.
And well, yeah, where it says
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
hi, welcome, my name is
Yes.
da 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 da. And instead of it saying hello and welcome by next Sunday, all right, by next Sunday, I want you to implement the necessary code to have that introductory message written out.
Okay.
All right. Encore. The team tour is a little different. We'll talk a little bit about the team tour on next Sunday, where the same Learning February 21st branch will be updated, all right, to have, in fact, like the full-fledged of Adi's, like take a tour completed end to end. I'm talking about, like, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to walk you through that. Then your job, Adi, from the 7th until the, I would say, the 7th to the 13th, that week, right? You're gonna basically kind of mirror the code that I wrote. And it's gonna be I'm gonna try to do it in chunks. Maybe getting it by the 13th, like full end to end, maybe a little bit much. But what we plan to do for by then is to get our user tour done. So once we get our user tour done, we'll focus on the same, but for a team, right? And then we're going to start going back to the user scope and flushing out bot commands. We're going to flush out setting up our knowledge base, and in fact, taking our own questions that we've created, and we'll start putting these pieces together. Before we started with, okay, we'll work on the knowledge base, we'll get teams, we'll give you guys accounts, we'll get ngrok, get this, get that. Now it's the time where we're not only going to take a full jump in where I'm like, hey guys, look over there and just pushing you into the pool, but we're also going to start seeing how all of these components one by one by one by one we'll start making this experience of our chatbot, and we'll eventually start having people to use this app whenever we have these meetings, to have these game blasts, to come up with some points of feedback. So we're looking at around, by the time that this Kickstarter eventually goes live, we'll have this chatbot done. And there is also a V2 and a V3 that has been done for this FAQ bot. V2 is where the experts can add new questions and answer pairs into the knowledge base. And V3, remember when we spoke about that question tree, about how that one answer can have other follow-up questions? That is what we've implemented. In fact, I've implemented that whole thing about having follow-ups. So we're going to take that like step by step by step. And by June, we're going to have V1 fully fledged out. We're going to build on top of that. And you will start to see like, this is where the neat bot, this is when you can say, I did this. Now that's cool. That's for sure. All right. So for the 6th of March, here's, if you guys got a pen, paper, note down. Here's what I want you guys to take a look at. First of all, review the videos. Review parts of it, review all of it. Look at the videos. Take down questions that you may have, right? Come up with, take a look at what a database is. And more importantly, I'm going to be sending out a few links. So Azure Table Storage, that's something that we'll be talking about on the 7th. So we'll go slightly back to our PowerPoints for that day. And then on Sunday, which would be the 7th of March, we'll revisit the welcome message. We'll also take a look at a typing indicator implementation. So I'm going to walk you through how to write that. I will have it written out. I will take you through step by step on how to do it. And you will see the same results that we've been able to achieve so far. You'll see where at the bottom, I'm going to share my screen. And this is kind of what I'm wanting to get at. So at the bottom, if I type in hello, we're going to see something where it says Ganga Gamebot is typing, and it would come back with echo hello, right? So we want to get to that point, and then slowly but surely we'll bring in our knowledge base. We'll bring in everything on Azure. We'll bring in this whole idea of showing notifications of when a bot is going to send you a message on its own, not because of you doing anything, but because of an expert having done something. And we'll start bringing in this concept of testing the bot, debugging. If we're running into errors, if we're running into something, why is this happening? And we'll explore Visual Studio and the language of C# for next week. Man, this hour went by quick. Time really does fly when you're having fun, eh? Anyway, guys, I want to take the time and say thank you both for sticking around. And I think we do have another developer joining us. So I think that might be Arjun. So we'll have Arjun join us, I think, the next session. And keep this up, look at it, and trust me, when it's all said and done, this would be one of the shining lights apart from the Ganga Gamebot. And you won't believe we can even do this for all the other games that we have. Memory Maya, Karna's Karma. We can do all this and really make this bot super, super strong. Like, you won't believe, like, we can even have this where if we ask a question about Karna's Karma, this bot potentially can say, okay, let me go to the Karna's Karma knowledge base. If it's asking me about, if I'm saying I want to ask a question about the river rescue game, it'll go to our Ganga Gamebot knowledge base. If it's talking about Memory Maya, let me go to the Memory Maya knowledge base. Or we can combine everything into one knowledge base, have as many questions and answers. You won't believe, up to possibly 50 gigabytes worth. That, yeah, imagine having a 50 gigabit knowledge base. Like, think about the amount of question and answer pairs that could be there in 50 gigabytes. Forget about, and that's at, I think, at an S1 scope. If you want to go to like P1, that's premium, you could go to a 250 gigabyte knowledge base if we had to. And we're just scratching the surface of Q&A Maker. Not to mention, it can parse through PDF files, Word documents, even web pages. And yeah, it'll extract the question and answer for you. And you can tell this Q&A Maker service that I'm not gonna, you can tell it like that we can go all laissez-faire in the sense that whenever that web page gets updated, so is our knowledge base. We don't have to worry about going in, giving a new link every single time. Maybe when it comes to our documents, yeah, we'd have to upload maybe a new version of the document. But when it comes to a web page, we can tell it automatically refresh. That means we can take anytime there's a question, a new question that gets added on our web page for gamesforsava.org, we could bring it into the knowledge base. So the possibilities for us are endless. And if we say that, okay, I want to have a memory Maya, Ganga GameBot, and Karna's Karma, all we have to do is come up with questions and answers, put them onto a web page, and then we'll just tell Q&A Maker, here's our Q&A page for Karna's Karma. Here's our Q&A page for Ganga GameBot. Here's our Q&A page for these other games, so on and so forth. You could have up to 25 links. That's a lot of Q&A pairs. And it could be about all the games. It could even be about Games for Seva as well. So what I'm going to talk to about the idea about is starting to come up with an FAQ page for which we can, for the first iteration of this GameBot, we'll go by Excel. But if we really want to bring in other games and make this like a one-stop shop bot, we'll start looking at creating FAQs for every game and create FAQs about Games for Seva. All right. So I hope you guys saw. I think Adi, you were quite happy to finally see your bot code up and running on your machine, which is good. It's always good to have that. You feel a sense of accomplishment. And Encore, I hope that you've been finding these sessions helpful. Adi as well. So has it been good so far? I hope you guys have been having fun. Don't worry, I'm not gonna quiz you. I'm not gonna test you. Don't worry. There's nothing of that sort. Maybe you might throw in a pop quiz here or there, but don't worry about it. All right, guys, thank you both for showing up, for joining me, and I look forward to the 6th of March. Let me know on the WhatsApp Ganga GameBot group what time you guys prefer to meet, and basically if you guys want to meet at like 6 o'clock, go to 8. I'm fine. If you guys want to meet at 4 o'clock, go to 6. I'm fine. But we're going to start talking about databases. We'll start talking a little bit about what we plan to do with it with regards to that Ask an Expert and that ticket system that I want to implement as part of V1. All right. Guys, thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Adi. Bye, Encore. Thanks.